The Capital Region hits the runway. We talk about the school year that's on the way and what's happening with our drainage way. Not bad, right? Roll it, Kyle. All right, so let's talk about what's happening with drainage here in East Baton Rouge Parish. Check this out. 60 million pounds of debris have been removed from 60 miles of underground storm drains, 20,000 cubic yards cleaned out of Bayou Manchac, and they're just getting started. Kelvin Hill is here with us, man. You've got all these ARPA dollars. People are wondering what's going to happen with drainage. Y'all have been working hard. Give us an update, man. What's going on?
Oh, we've been doing extremely well. We put these funds to use since June of last year. We spent about $8 million so far just cleaning storm drains and pipes on the roadside, so it will drain through our conveying systems.
Yeah.
We've touched about 16,000 structures in that process, and we plan to spend about $4 million more to complete that work.
So you and I were talking before the show started about all the rain we've had lately, and one of the things that we've noticed is it hasn't been flooding like it did, say, last year, and that's because of some of what you guys have been doing, right?
Yeah. I say when you take 16 million pounds of sediments out of your pipes, they flow a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I think what residents are seeing now is they're starting to see the structure function the way it was designed.
Right.
Now, we're not gonna take care of these torrential rains where we get 2 or 3 inches in an hour, but for a normal rainfall, we should be okay.
So, you know, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because of what happened last year. We had so much rain last year. There was flooding all over the parish, debris everywhere, and we're beginning this new reality based upon the federal funds that we've gotten both statewide and locally. And because of this, EBR will be a very different place. What's top of your priority?
Well, top of my priority and the mayor's priority is to complete the work that we've started on drainage.
Yeah.
Strategically, what we want to do, we want to start at the outfalls and move our way back upstream. So as we make improvements, water drains out and leaves the parish the way that it should.
Yeah.
So we have now hit a milestone where we've started to do channel clearing, snagging, and cleaning.
Yeah.
We've started in Clay Cut Bayou, we've started in Jones Creek, we've started in Wards Creek. So we'll start to see that the main bodies that convey stormwater out of the parish start to move more effectively.
So I've had this conversation with a couple of friends who are into real estate, and they talk about all of the expansion of the parish, all the new subdivisions coming in. Over on Piku Lane, you've got the new interchange that's coming in. Does any of that impact the way the water flows here in the parish and the work that you're doing?
Well, absolutely. That's why the mayor commissioned a stormwater master plan study that we're wrapping up. We spent $15 million trying to understand how this parish drains. We've got several watersheds that we've looked at. We've been able to model how the water will drain. We'll be able to model, if we do a project, how does that affect drainage? And that information and data is critical to help us understand where to make the right investments and what projects to go work on to improve drainage through the system.
So one of the things you said to me before we started is this is really about a $40 million a year spend to maintain this. And you've got finite dollars, obviously, to be able to spend on this. So once you've finished this phase using the federal dollars, what is the plan to manage it as best you can with the monies that you have?
Well, as you know, we invest about $9 million a year out of the general fund.
Right.
We've implemented a stormwater fee study to really understand what we need to spend on an ongoing basis and what that will cost City Parish. We anticipate that study wrapping up this summer, and we'll start to talk to the residents and to the council about what's required going forward. But if you think about it, we're spending 41 million this year on drainage, and that feels like about the right amount of money we need to spend going forward.
What should we as citizens who live in the parish be doing to try to assist with this effort?
It's very easy. Keep trash, junk, and debris out of the street, out of the storm drains, right? And help us clean up the parish, because at the end of the day, all that ends up washing into a storm box, washing into a conveyance pipe. It plugs it up and it
Causes more
inhibits
problems.
drainage and creates problems for us. That's right.
Man, we appreciate you. When the weather changes and it gets cold, I'll get you to come back to talk about that as well, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about the school year that's on the way. And the school system is recruiting. Let's have a discussion about it. Stay right there.
All right, there. Ooh, unbutton your
Nichola Hall is the head of human resources over at the East Baton Rouge Parish School System. You've been here before. School year's about to start and you're looking for teachers, right?
I sure am looking for teachers.
So let's talk a little bit about that. There's a shortage around the country now,
Correct.
and I can't understand why. Why is there a shortage of educators?
A couple of different things.
Okay.
Just a lack of folks interested in going into the education field.
Right.
It's just not as enticing as it used to be.
Yeah.
Plus there's COVID, right? So we're still dealing with that. The technology industry have interrupted education. So
Yeah.
folks are able to take their skill sets elsewhere and
Right.
make more money. So we're combating with that also.
You know, I talked to Dr. Narcisse about this the last time he was here with Robert McGarner, and we kind of talked about shifting back to in-class learning. I don't think the virtual learning was a good experiment for kids. A lot of kids fell behind because not every kid is in a household where someone's going to
Sit
keep them
there.
accountable to the work.
Right.
And it also highlighted the value of quality teachers in the classroom.
Correct.
So what about the pay? Because that's a thing.
Yes, it is a thing, and we have started to address that. So
Okay.
we did a come study a few months ago with SSA Consultant, and
Yeah.
the results were very astounding.
Yeah.
We have folks who are making way below market value.
Right.
And I'm a competitor, right? If I'm going to compete and beat
Right.
the neighboring
Right.
parishes, I
Right.
got to step up my game and
Right.
be able to drop my dollars on the table and said, all right, here's where I stand and here's what we are offering, and you could come and we're attractive. So we're trying to do those things. And one of the things that we're going to be doing, which Ms. Griffin will be on shortly to talk
Yeah.
about, is the superintendent stipend, sign-on bonus. And
Yeah.
that's up for board approval tonight, and
Yeah.
fingers crossed
Yeah.
and a lot of prayers that it will work. And that sign-on bonus, pending board approval, of course, is $7,500 for core teachers.
Yeah.
We have a huge gap of core teachers. I'm looking for 110 core teachers. When I say core teachers, math,
Okay.
English, social studies, and science. Those subject areas are traditionally hard to fill. And I have to put my money out there to be able to say, hey, we are competitive, we want the best, and here you could come and build a career with us at EBR schools.
It's so interesting because it's one of those great professions.
Yes.
Education is kind of like being in the medical field or law enforcement. You're really in a service industry. You're in HR, you're over HR. What's your vision for the staff, the team,
Right.
the people working in the school system?
So I'm a big believer in family. I'm a big believer in collaborative partnership. I cannot do this by myself, honestly, especially with this entire recruiting debacle that we have right now, where I have about 258 vacancies that I need to fill.
Right.
And how am I going to do that by myself if I'm competing with other folks? I need a team, and the team that I've been collaborating are department heads who they have the knowledge and the skill sets to help me push this agenda and actually close the gap faster. So for me, anyone I talk to about East Baton Rouge Public Schools, I've only been here 8 months, and I love it here. I love Baton Rouge. I love the weather because, yes, I'm Jamaican and I like it hot.
You can have it. You can have my share.
And I love the mannerism. It kind of reminds me growing up back home in Jamaica. Everything is yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir. Everyone's pleasant, and you can't find it everywhere, anywhere, right? So this is we have a unique culture, and I want people to experience the same culture that I'm a part of right now, where it's family, togetherness, collaborative partnership, community. We want to do best and bigger things for our kids, for our community, and that's the best way to do that is through collaborative partnership and expressing the excitement to join East Baton Rouge Public Schools.
You know, Dr. Narcisse has brought in a number of people from other parts of the country to be a part of his team, and he and I have talked about that, transforming the image of the school system. Of course, you've heard all the negativity out there about the brand, and y'all are working to change that. Kind of talk me through that, your vision of how you change the brand to attract people back to the system.
Oh, so cool question. So I'm the type of person, I deal with one-on-one relationship. I believe in maintaining healthy relationship. I believe in having healthy dialogue. We could agree to disagree. So I've committed to exposing myself out there to the public where I share my phone number and I share my email address. If they have employees who have concerns, any concerns, big or small, 10 years ago concerns that were unresolved. Whatever I could do to make you feel warm and fuzzy inside to make sure you do your job successfully, I want to talk to you. Come sit, let's talk. Let's figure a way how we could all coexist and still get the work done. So by doing that, I'm able to shift the brand or change the brand or rebrand our image. It's going to take some time, but I think by just having these one-on-one conversations and people get to know who we are, what we stand for. Yes, we came from another state, but we would love to fit in. We would love to be a part of the team and move forward.
I got about a minute, and I want to ask, for people watching who do have children in the system, is there something you want them to know about I know we're going to talk with Letrece in just a moment about the upcoming school year, but what would you like them to know about what's ahead for them?
A lot of exciting things. Stay tuned. A lot of exciting things. Just give us a chance to showcase. So I know Dr. Narcisse started this last year, and we're in year 2, and there's more to come. But at the same time, we are working collaboratively together, and if they have any ideas that they would like to share with us, please feel free. Dr. Narcisse is very approachable.
Yes, he is.
Talk to him about anything so we could move forward.
He was trying to do the electric slide at an event in North Baton Rouge.
Oh, God.
Ooh, that did not go well. So we're going to talk more about what's coming up this school year with Letrece Griffin. She'll be on the show next. Stay right there. So Letrece Griffin is with the EBR School System, Director of Comms over there, and we were just talking with your Director of HR, Nichola Hall, about this upcoming school year. So what can we expect? It's almost here.
It's almost here. It's hard to believe that it's just like 2 weeks away,
right.
3 weeks away. But yes, but our theme for this upcoming school year is nothing is impossible.
Love it.
We want our school community, families, everyone to know that there are no bounds to what you can achieve, what you can learn, and we want to take that embodiment into this new school year.
So y'all have such new energy. You know, Nichola was here talking about changing the brand, addressing it. There's such new energy in the system now. How is that translating to getting people into the system and for your perspective, students and parents?
Right, so what I love about my communications department is that it also holds our family and community engagement aspect of the district as well.
Okay.
So just being face to face, being in front of everyone, like you said, helping them to feel that energy is really, really important. And so we want to not just be about words, but about actions. And so seeing us boots on the ground, being trying to be interactive as much as possible, and then giving information, making sure our families and communities know what's going on in the school system so that they can feel connected with us.
It's so competitive now because you have charters that are non-traditional public schools coming into EBR, and there's more of them now than there were, say, 10 years ago.
Right.
How do you compete with they can be nimble because they're smaller. I mean, you've got all these schools. How do you compete with that?
Well, there are a number of charters that are within our EBR school system, and we always like to let people know that it's not charters versus traditional school.
Right.
We're creating an ecosystem where everyone can find
Love
what's
that.
best for them.
Love that.
But for the charters that are not inside of our district, we just want to do what's best for children and making sure that families know what opportunities are there. And so as far as competition, we try to make sure that our schools, whether they're traditional or charter, have specialized programming as well, to make sure that we're trying to fill those gaps for that individuality, that creativity that students want to portray.
The Pathways program, the initiative Dr. Narcisse announced last year, that starts in earnest this year, or was it already going on? Did you start it during last year?
So we had our pilot last year with incoming freshmen at Glen Oaks High. This year it's district-wide, so every incoming ninth grader will be participating in the Pathways to Bright Future program.
What about industrial skills? I remember when there was VOTEC training in school so many years ago, and that kind of went away. What are we doing about that now? Because not every kid is going to go to a four-year institution, but they can be employable. What are y'all doing to address the non-college students?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because our Pathways to Bright Futures program actually includes industry-based credentialing, which falls under that technical career aspect, but then it also has advanced placement courses and the dual enrollment courses. So whatever the path a young person decides to take, there's space in that with that PBF program.
The school system here is so important to the future of Baton Rouge because it has a major it plays a major factor in what our community will look like. That's why what you do is so important. What do you want parents to know about what's on the way?
Yes, so Dr. Narcisse often says, we want to be a part of the community as the community is a part of us. And that talks about that ecosystem of making sure parents know that we are dedicated to having certified teachers in the classroom. We're dedicated to making sure students are supported with our community partners through like eye care for social and emotional learning, all of those additional layers of support, and that we're all in this together. And we realize that we have a strong school system, like you said, it ripples into other aspects of the community.
I mean, everything from crime to the economy, quality of life.
It's all
and I think
together.
People have to get on board. I heard someone say at a meeting at the Capitol, people either, if you have a problem, step up or shut up. I like that.
I love
who
that.
said it. If I told people who said it, they'd be very surprised at that. But all right, so if people want to learn more about the system quickly, where can they go?
EBRschools.org is always the one-stop shop for all information, but all our social media channels as well, but EBRschools.org.
You got to find that video I was referencing about Dr. Narcisse.
I will find it.
I'm telling you, it was so bad. Let's talk about the fashion
He's improving. He's improving.
No, he's not. Let's talk about a fashion show. Coming to Baton Rouge. We got the scoop next. Man, the set just got so much lovelier. Just fantastic, pretty ladies here. There is a fashion event taking place in Baton Rouge next Friday night. It's going to be downtown, and you see it right there. Nina Ross presents Power of Women Fashion Show. It's taking place Friday night. the 29th downtown. It should be nice, 200 St. Louis Street, and these ladies are here to talk about it. Nina is the force behind the fashion, and she's got two of her ladies here with her, and you're going to have a bunch of people out there. Tell me about this fashion show.
It's just an elegant night, and it's more than just a fashion show, Clay. It's a night for people to be inspired, encouraged, to network. So it's a really beautiful night. I'm excited to see the vision come to life once again.
Well, who'd you bring with you today?
This is my creative director, my backbone, everything to me.
Trinicia and?
Hi.
Ingrid?
And Ingrid
It's like you forget Ingrid's name.
Ingrid is the leading brand ambassador.
So this is the second year doing it, not the first time you've done this. And I spoke to people who were at the one last year. I was out of town, and they were raving about the energy and the presentation and everything that went on with it. What's your goal with this? Because I have actually never attended a fashion show. This will be my first one.
Okay.
So what will be the goal of this?
To really let people get a night and feel inspired. I really genuinely want everyone to walk away with something.
Yeah.
Even if that's a new friendship, a new job opportunity, a new style just to inspire your wardrobe, anything. I genuinely want everyone to walk away with something.
So Trinicia, when you set this up and the optics of this for the
Yes.
event, tell me what we should expect.
Oh, you are going to expect a night of surprises,
Okay.
number one.
All right.
There are some things in store. For the people that were there last year, we heard people walking out. They were like, oh my God, this is not what I expected. This came out of nowhere. This year, it's that times 10. There are things that will happen literally out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So we just kind of took everything from last year and we're just doing it on a larger scale.
Yeah.
So we're excited to see. Hopefully the city of Baton Rouge comes out and supports. It's a great event for our city.
Yeah.
Just a night out for fun, relax. I mean, you can even have it as a date night. I mean, there were couples last year, being that it was at the Shaw Center on last year. People were just hearing the music.
Yeah.
And I would just kind of walk past the door and they were like, what's going on? I'm like, a fashion show. They're like, can I pay at the door? We want to come in. And it was amazing to see that. So we're just hoping it happens again.
Well, you know, Ingrid, you're a brand ambassador, and so I have a friend who is a brand ambassador for a cigar company, and he has the greatest life. I'll change places with him tomorrow. So brand ambassador is something people aspire to. So as brand ambassador, what's your role, and how are you going to make next Friday so amazing?
Well, my role is basically to, I don't want to say like be over, but just to make sure as the models, everything is running smoothly.
Yeah.
Any questions that they have, any concerns, they come to myself and other brand ambassadors. We try to keep them from calling Miss Nina, you know, because they quick to run to Miss Nina. So we try to keep as much off of her as we can.
Yeah.
And next Friday, we're so excited. We have been working hard,
Yep.
and we're coming to show that as women, we can uplift each other.
Yeah.
It's okay to uplift each other. We're gonna empower each other,
Yeah.
you know, through modeling, through
Yeah.
fashion.
Yeah.
So we're excited. I'm excited. It has been a pleasure, and just want everybody to come out.
Well, look, I love the intention of what this event is. My company is one of the sponsors for the event, and I wanted to make reference to something. You are supporting the Butterfly Society,
Yes.
An organization here in Baton Rouge that supports victims of domestic violence. It's run by the great Tawana Harris, who I just
Yes.
love so much. Let's talk about why you wanted to support Butterfly Society.
I wanted to support Butterfly Society just because some of the models could be experiencing domestic violence, right? This show not only provides people an outlet to get away from their everyday life, but it's also an opportunity for, if they are dealing with something, this is a chance for them to get away from it. We
Yeah.
even created a scene dedicated to domestic violence. And Mr. Warner will actually introduce that scene.
So if people, I know you're still selling tickets. How can people get tickets if they want to
They
come to the
can
event?
go on the Power of Women website, buy tickets. We are going to sell tickets all the way up until the day of the show. And you can walk up and get tickets.
Walk up and get tickets. A Friday evening. So I'll be there this time.
Yes.
I'll be there. And I promise I won't get on the runway. I won't.
Well, we would love to have you on the runway.
Let's find John Pastorek. He's around here somewhere. I'm sure he would love to do that. Well, again, it's Friday night downtown. It's a great thing to be a part of. I support what y'all are doing, and I can't wait to see what y'all got in store for us. Oh, yes. So, and again, how much are the tickets?
The tickets are $75.
All right.
Yeah.
And then what are some, outside of what's at the runway, I got about 30 seconds, what else will be happening there? Tell me about it.
At 7 o'clock, we will have a networking cocktail hour where the band Universal Language will be playing. We're bringing them back from last year. All right. And then the show will begin at 8. During cocktail hour, there will be hors d'oeuvres provided. There is a cash bar that will be available as well. All
right. So Friday night, downtown Baton Rouge. Put on your best and come out and support these ladies. Nina Ross presents the Power of Women Fashion Show. See you next week.